The Gippy Goat Cafe has shut down. Let's have a look. Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of Heiser Says. Now, this has been shared recently from a cafe in rural Victoria called the Gippy Goat Cafe. And I'll just read this post and then we'll have a look at what's happened here. This is a cafe that's been shut down due to essentially vegan activists, and the behaviour of these activists is criminal. They've been bursting onto the property, and happened here again in Queensland just recently, and stealing the animals from their rightful owners. So the Gippy Goat Cafe has decided to close. Today will be our last day. We would like to thank our dedicated staff, our social media followers and loyal customers for your unfailing support, but we do not have the heart to continue the cafe. Now this cafe they also have a dairy where they milk the goats, and the goats in the cafe petting zoo were there really for passersby to pet the goats. This was not an easy decision to reach. However, for the sake of our health and safety and that of our families and staff, we feel that it is regrettably the best option. Okay, so let me know in the comments what you think. If a bunch of people go onto your land, start stealing your stuff, threatening your staff members and your family, do you think that's fair? That's a fair protest to have? So let's have a look at some footage here before we keep going. Okay, this is some security camera footage of the protesters coming onto the site, to the petting zoo. So here you go, all dressed in black, and you can just look at the people there. I'm gonna drink my Shiner coffee. Do you think any of them have ever actually done any work in the country? They all look like a bunch of inner city 20-something girls. Look at them. Most of them are women. Stealing people's animals. Running off, stealing them. Let's jump ahead. And they're filming it. And these ones are from a petting zoo. I think they stole 4 or 3 goats and a lamb. So let's jump to some other footage, which is where they have they're treating a goat. This is how they're moving it.
Please nobody film the number plate. Thank you.
Please nobody film my number plate. I mean, look, just look at them. I mean, they must be so weak. This must be such a struggle for them because they've never had any protein, any meat, and they're just putting it in the back of, is that mum or dad's 4-wheel drive?
Please nobody film the number plate. Thank you.
So who knows the vet?
No, we're not going to take it to the vet straight away because we'll get in trouble.
Did you hear that? So they're not going to take him to the vet. They're worried about the animal's safety, but they're not taking him to the vet because they'll get in trouble. They'll get in trouble. So here we have another one. This is their discussions with police.
Well, just more like being with them. Like, we don't want to just like be out here with them. We want to be like help them. So we want to interact with them as well, and hope that they can feel that we're trying.
So at the end of the day, it's private property.
Yeah, completely understandable. But they're
we've got to do a
individual.
job at the same time.
Yeah.
I understand we love animals too.
Yeah.
But this is a private property. If you've been asked to leave, we have to do our job.
Yeah. Well, if we can.
Gotta feel sorry for the cops in this situation. I mean, there's 70 of them. What could they do? Would the vegans turn violent? How would it look in the media if the Victorian... Well, we all know the Victorian police don't do anything to gangs, regardless. You know, I'm surprised the police aren't driving them there. You know, that's a jab at all the poor Victorians.
Liberate all the animals and come with us. We're happy to remove off their private property.
We can't allow
So would you bring a
that.
big truck or something? Or
Yeah, like false flags. No, they would go to the property.
They want to steal the animals.
There'll be a lot of false flags, but we can do that.
And then once they've been checked out by the vet,
Yeah.
where do they go to?
They'll go to a photo home.
So my understanding was from a radio interview with the owner of the cafe and the dairy, they've got vet on staff. They have veterinarians on staff. So it's all a bunch of attention-seeking vegans, really, and so many women.
They won't be coming back.
where's your brother?
I can't give those details.
Are they going in the same situation as they are now?
Why don't the cops arrest them for trespassing? Can't we do that? And this is the thing, and it's also in New Zealand where they're taking the weapons off people, and people who have never had to call the police or an emergency service for, a situation where you needed them to arrive, don't appreciate that they can often take a long time to get to you, and often they just clean up the mess afterwards.
Definitely not. So
Roaming free?
Yep, roaming free, but in a large property, safe from any exploitation. Their life will be their life.
Speak to your people, because private property,
Yep.
you're going to be asked for it.
Okay. Thank you.
So it's really important when these situations happen that we try and
Oh, here we go.
So just an update here. We have been asked to leave the property. I highly doubt that's what we're going to be doing.
Oh, there you go. There you go. You can see what they've had to deal with people stealing the animals from them, with people just walking onto their property. No respect at all. So let's keep going. So our staff and customers have been subjected to nearly 4 months of constant harassment, vile statements and threats from the abusive vegan activists. We have personally been subjected to an appalling stream of threats of extreme violence against others, our family, our staff, and even their families. Now just think about this. These are people, the real issue I have with these activists, and what scares me about them, is they put a human being below an animal. Okay? Their disgust at humans that eat animals is to such a point that they dehumanize them. And that's where it gets dangerous. That's where they're willing to threaten people. They think they're justified to act in such, frankly, psychotic ways. And they're just crazy ideologues. Back to the post. Our staff have been subjected to daily threats and harassment by phone, and we cannot in good conscience ask them to continue working under such a condition. Our social media and review sites have been subjected to false information and artificial poor ratings. The courts have proven to be ineffectual. The enforcement agencies declined to prosecute to the full extent. So the thieves, trespassers, and activists, you've won. You've won. Now this takes me back to good old South Park, when they made fun of the crazy PETA people throwing blood on the school kids, and to change the name of the Cowboys, their football team, and they were going, no, we can't let the terrorists win, because these are terrorists. They're using violence, they're using threats, they're stealing property for political purposes, and they haven't been penalized. Rejoice in your victory. 8 good people are now without a job. There we go. There. Families no longer can enjoy the good food and open space, and children can no longer interact with our animals. Society is the loser. The anonymous bullies, hypocrites, lawbreakers, and self-professed paragons of moral and social justice have won. Please know that your ignorant indignation, lust for outrage, and the false reality you inhabit through your social media streams will prevent you from effecting any positive societal change, only harm to real human beings, and you only have yourself to thank. That's a very good point, and it's a very sad point. The problem is, this is what happens when you have these ideologues. We're seeing them everywhere. Our farm will continue to operate as before, but is no longer open to the public. So if they wanted to ensure the best for the animals, if you wanted to put the safety and the concern of the animals before your own political agenda and activism, you would want the public to have access to that farm. You would want it to be open. You would want the workers aware that they are going to be scrutinized at any time by any member of the public going into their farm and to behave accordingly. But it just shows you. We are truly sorry for any disappointment this may cause. So John and Penny. So it is, and this was just a few hours ago today. And we'll have a look. I mean, this is where the farm is. It's, you know, regional Victoria. And so this is on the 20th of March. So just a few weeks ago. Please sign our petition to combat animal activism on Victorian farms. So they put a petition out there trying to get political activism. But now it's, what, the 7th of April, and they've closed down. So, you know, this didn't work. The petition of certain citizens of the state of Victoria draws to the attention of the Legislative Council the urgent need for protection of law-abiding farmers from animal activists who are using the Aussie Farms website and breach farm biosecurity, steal livestock damage, or encourage property damage and trespass, or incite to trespass on law-abiding Victorian farms. Well, I've got a suggestion. I'd like to hear your comments. Maybe we allow farmers to use shotguns with, you know, salt or buckshot. A few pellets in your vegan ass. Would that drive them away? What do you think? Should we allow that for the farmers? Maybe if you had 70 people who've been threatening you online come up to your house, how would you feel? And the police take half an hour to get there. So unfortunately that didn't work. I mean, these are all issues that need, this behavior of these activists needs to be addressed and needs to be discussed in public. If you want to see any of my videos on vegans, I've got a few up there, just mainly on the dangers of the diet. And I'll link to those in a card. And I actually watched a video recently from No Bullshit, where he was just looking at all these vegan YouTubers who after about 5 years, they all flip. They all give up because their bodies are just buggered. They can't think straight. They've got no energy because humans didn't evolve to be bloody, you know, eat this type of grain crap that the animals eat. You know, we've got different digestive systems. There's a difference between humans and animals. So this is on the 1st of February. Sad to report that at around 1:17 a.m. on January the 31st, the goat named Angel, who was stolen from our farm at Christmas last year, was again taken by thieves. So they stole it at Christmas and they stole it again at the end of January. Under cover of darkness, she was abducted from her pen, where she was quarantined due to biosecurity concerns arising from the previous theft. Now, in the radio interview, what's his name? John? Is it John? Yes, John shared the fact that they were actually, the activists were trying to raise money for Angel, claiming that the goat had died. So they're using it to solicit funds online. So if you're a vegan and you're watching this and you're going, Florian, you're a bloody idiot, question everything you've been presented to you, because you are in an ideological movement. You're in a lot of danger of being possessed by this movement and your behavior being irrational. And the danger is once you start publicly identifying and writing and thinking like this, once your persona becomes attached to this vegan stamp, it's hard to escape. And you will suffer cognitive dissonance even if evidence is put in front of you, because it's a part of your identity. This is what happened in the Korean War. The North Koreans would get the American soldiers to write essays for small prizes against America, against capitalism, just slightly, and just with one piece of work to another, they would slowly indoctrinate them into socialism. That just shows you what's happening in our school system, but that's for another video. We are very concerned for her safety and well-being, as the criminals who took her previously used unsafe means of transport, and we saw that in the video before, kept her inside, yep, that's what animals want, and did not adequately feed her. Yes, it is quite funny to think vegans don't have enough vegetables to feed animals. They falsely claimed they would be taking her to a vet and solicited public donations for bills pretending she was terminally ill. Okay, there you go. Oh boy. This is an extremely serious legal matter, as she was being kept under police instruction as evidence of the crimes committed last year by several extremist animal liberationists who are awaiting trial in the coming weeks. And we know now that they haven't really been punished, have they? The continued harassment of our business and the greater farming community by these misguided extremists, criminals, and abusers needs to stop. Security footage has been provided to the police, and we saw that security footage. One thing that needs to be considered, okay, here's a sensible solution, that the judge should order them to work on the farms. The judge should order them to compensate the farmers at the standard rate for a farmhand shoveling shit, cleaning, taking care of the animals on a farm, milking them for patrons. Maybe that should be a fitting punishment for these Melbourne suburbanites. I guarantee you they're from Melbourne. Guarantee you. I mean, there you go. There's the poor goat. So here is a clip. Okay, so this is the clip talking to the police that we saw before that was shared. So yes, let's have a look at some of the activists here. So this is the radio interview, and I'll share a link to that below if you want to hear it. It's sad. This is from the 1st of January. And I'm surprised at, well, maybe I shouldn't be, at the support or the fact that the interviewers, the hosts on the station, aren't more critical of the vegans. So John Gommans was forced to close his cafe in Gippsland after a reported 70 activists broke in before Christmas to liberate some of its animal residents. 3 adult goats and an unweaned lamb were taken by the group, leaving the cafe struggling to feed the young goats left behind. So they took away the milk, the goats that were producing milk for some of their other lambs, so they couldn't feed them. Good work there, vegans. Good work, animal activists. John says this is the second time in 6 months that activists have targeted the cafe and stolen animals. And this is image, screw you, Gippy Goat, no conviction. I mean, there you go. There you go. Now, just seeing this behavior, seeing the women that were doing that, and then realizing why a whole lot of blokes are going MGTOW. I mean, could you imagine being a bloke and wanting to get into a long-term, stable relationship with a woman that does something like this? Could you even picture that? Just how unhinged would you have to be? How warped would your sense of reality and your perspective and understanding of things have to be to justify this type of behavior and to act in such a vulgar way? It's disgusting. It really is. It's not impressive. And, you know, they're going to get old. This will be forgotten. The poor, 8 people who were working there who've lost their jobs now because of your behavior. 8 people have lost their jobs because of your behavior, but you don't care. None of them care. Guys, let me know what you think. What would your suggestion be to help the farmers or the cafe owners or the rural business owners? What do you think? Please like, share, and subscribe. Ding the bell to see my daily updates, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.